Saturday Evening Post and a giant-size Hershey bar. Sensible crunch of snow beneath our galoshes. We started home after dark, but it was as bright as day, with Idaho stars shattering the sky. The light of stars was definitely brighter then, too. Marion, Kentucky. Snow and cold that quickly turned into a sultry southern spring with catalpa, peach, and apple blossoms. Birds everywhere, irrepressibly jubilant. Butterflies. I had to stay on the boarding house veranda, which was painted glossy black and mopped by glossy negras. "Don't let her call them that," my father said to my mother. "I'm from Texas. Should I say darkies? Colored, for God's sake." The colored maids and cooks and waiters all talked to me. There were no other children at the boarding house. The miners in Marion were single men, Mexicans mostly, hundreds of them living in barracks. The people in the boarding house were engineers like my father, assayers, geologists, a bricklayer with a mustache who laughed with my mother on the veranda. The only other woman guest was a health nurse. Her breasts were so enormous, she had to eat sitting sideways. I couldn't stop looking at them until my father spanked me for staring at her bosom. Then just the word bosom gave me the giggles, but I couldn't stop saying it, singing, "Bosom, bosom, bosom." The nurse traveled to different schools, treating impetigo and ringworm with gentian violet. We lived in one hot room with a ceiling fan and a mosquito net, a balcony big enough only for me. All the guests used a mildewed and foul-smelling bathroom down the hall. Sometimes I came into our room, and my mother was crying, but she said, "No, I'm not. You hear?" She read mysteries, lying on the bed in a peach-colored slip. We only went out from the boarding house 3 times. Once, the bricklayer took us for a drive into the country, rolling green hills with cows and horses, and then a farm with pigs, enormous pigs as big as cars with mean little human eyes. My father drove us across the Mississippi River. He cried, looking across the expanse of it, and said we were blessed to live in America. My mother called him a sentimental sap. He took us to a big city where we rode on an escalator. I got jacks to play with on the veranda, but couldn't learn how. I tried to rename Skippy Gentian Violet, but it didn't take. Fireflies, fireflies, fireflies. Deer Lodge, Montana. In Deer Lodge, we lived in a 1-bedroom log cabin at the Lonesome Pine Motor Court. Cozy, with a Western motif. Brands on the lampshades, curtains and bedspreads with cowboys and Indians on them. Paintings of bronco busters and Indian braves. Hiawatha in a canoe. I slept on the pull-out couch next to a wonderful radio. During Bible shows, I'd shout back at the little speaker, "Yes, Jesus is my blessed Redeemer." The Shadow, Fibber McGee, Jack Benny, Let's Pretend. I got the giggles whenever I heard the song, "I Ain't Got No Body," because my mother called my vagina my body, said never to play with it. In Deer Lodge, my mother had a friend, Georgia, whose husband, Joe, worked the same shift at the mine with my father. They lived next door, came over every Sunday for coffee and coffee cake my mother baked. She didn't usually cook, so she was really proud of this cake. It was always snowing outside. Blazing heat came from the kitchen oven. The house was steamy, fragrant with cinnamon and vanilla. Everyone had pink, shiny faces and laughed. During the week, the men were so tired they could barely get their boots off. They ate without talking and fell into bed. On Saturdays, they'd all drink bourbon and play bridge and laugh. On Sundays, my father and Joe took turns reading the funnies at breakfast, then lay on my bed and read the rest of the paper while the women washed up and did hairdos.